It's the Blue Vote Cafe, a little bit wonkish, a whole lot of fun. I'm David Schellenberg along with Rachel Wigster. We're the co-chairs for Democrats Abroad in Canada's capital region of Ottawa. Hello, Rachel.
Hello, David. How are you?
I am pretty good. It was a pretty fun weekend. I got to DJ a friend's wedding, which has that extra little bit of anxiety going in, but I managed to pack the dance floor for 3 solid hours.
Good for you.
And part of the fun of this is, of course, somebody comes over and gives you all sorts of advice on the songs you're supposed to be playing, that you're not playing. And I kept looking at the dance floor thinking, well, I don't know. Everybody's dancing to this, so...
Right. If it's pulling people onto the floor, then how can you improve on that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could always do better, I guess. But
I suppose.
How was your weekend?
Oh, well, this weekend I spent 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, in the Democrats Abroad annual global meeting, which would ordinarily, as this is an odd year, be held in Washington, D.C., because that is our tradition. But there was enough concern among many members living abroad about traveling to the U.S. and back that it turned into a largely virtual meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is interesting when there's even concern about our members, so people who are American.
U.S. citizens, that's right. Yes.
That are reluctant.
Do they go with burner phones? Do they have to leave their laptop at home? What about what happens at the border if they get challenged on their identification? I don't know. I mean, I think it probably was the right decision, but it was, and there is something efficient, and the virtual meetings have great advantages, but I did miss being together in the room with the members who would have been able to travel otherwise.
Absolutely, yes. It's odd how we become pretty close friends with all these people around the world, and they're kind of lovely to see whenever you see them again. Yeah.
I know. I have such good friends around the world, some of whom I've never met, and a few of whom I've actually gotten to see. And it's amazing. It's what you and I always talk about.
Right.
I mean, we think about it in terms of love making the world go round, because a lot of people live abroad for their spouse, but it's friendship too that does it.
Speaking of somebody we've never met, who's with us today?
Great segue today. Friend of the pod, Stuart Reynolds, joins us for a second time. Stuart is known to and is beloved of Canadians as the social media darling Brittlestar, and he last joined us in November of 2023. Stuart, welcome back to the Blue Vote Cafe.
Thank you so much for having me. It's nice to be a welcomed stranger. I think that's nice. Expectations are low. I've got to start out fresh. It's good.
There's some song you made me want to burst into, but I can't remember. There is a Welcome Stranger song, is there not? Of course there is.
If there isn't, there will be soon.
So. There will be soon. That's
Beautiful Stranger. It's a Madonna song.
Madonna song?
That's one. No, there's one that's Welcome. I'm going to have to go look it up.
Great.
I'll report on the next pod.
And I disagree with you. If you're back, our expectations are you will do better than the last time.
Oh.
Well, that's foolish.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a reasonable challenge.
All right. As the host, I suppose it's our challenge more than it is yours to have something compelling.
Exactly.
I suppose. But it's Stuart's job to be funny. So we're waiting for some of that.
Oh, again, I'm a stranger. Let's just lower that bar a little further.
But I will ask you what you have done since November of 2023 to merit joining us on the pod for a second time.
I think just being a nice guy. I think that's basically just being a nice guy.
So Canadian of you.
Blazing good looks. I know that's not an often descriptive term for good looks. Blazing is rarely used, but I think it feels right for me. It feels right for me.
It's too bad there's no video in this podcast.
Well, listen, if people could see, they would know how blazingly good looking I am.
Right.
And they'd be like, gosh, that guy's blazingly good looking.
Speak
I've never
for
seen
yourself.
blazingly good looking before.
Well, I think we're going to have to add that into the description.
Yep.
Yeah,
Post
exactly.
the episode, yeah.
But the reason I'm schlepping here, the reason I'm shilling, the reason I'm here trying to bend your ears is because I have a new book coming out June 24th called Lessons from Cats for Surviving Fascism. And
timely title.
It's what's fascinating, I think, to me is that much like back at 2 years ago when I was on the show, it was my book, Welcome to the Stupid Apocalypse, had come out. And I thought, right before it was released, I thought, oh no, the world's getting smarter. This is terrible. This is going to do terrible things for the sales of the book. And the world really just got stupider. So it all worked out fine.
Think about how optimistic we were 2 years ago.
I know. And in all honesty, we had a meeting with the marketing and PR firm from the publishing company, and I remember saying, this is back in January, February. I remember saying to them, well, how do we think things are going to be by the time June 24th rolls around? And the one person in the meeting said, oh no, they're going to be worse. I was like, great, that's perfect, perfect for book
Your
sales.
optimism.
Yeah.
Oh my God! All right, tell us about the book. What
So the
do we
book
have to learn from cats about surviving fascism?
What's interesting is that I wrote it back in November, and I wrote it initially sort of like as just sort of a fun thing to do before my birthday. And I thought, what's an interesting angle on this whole, creeping authoritarianism thing? What's funny about that? That's my job as a satirist. I guess my job is trying to find the funny in this stuff.
Yep.
But I thought to myself, well, we're cats. Cats are total jerks. They're total dicks. They never do what they're told. They're the perfect examples of resistance, really. They are. I mean, you ever try to put a sweater on a cat? It doesn't go well. It's terrible. So I thought, well, I started thinking about this. I thought about all the different ways about being a cat, could be used to thwart fascism and fascists. And there's quite a lot. And what's hilarious is I wrote it as a bit of a joke. So things like, stay nimble and unpredictable, never lose your nap time, knock things over strategically, refuse to wear collars, all that kind of stuff, perfect the art of vanishing.
Nap time being the peak one of all that, I believe.
Oh, absolutely. Never lose your nap time. Rest is resistance. And I thought, this is funny, ha, ha, ha. And then the more I wrote it, I thought, this is actually all, this is a really
deep.
pretty good. It's got a potential to save the world, I think now. So yeah, it's a silly sort of fun little book, but at the same time, it's got it's a good little book. I initially, I think with the UK publisher, they were publishing it, and they showed me the pre-sale page, and it was like up with other books, like you go to a website, you're buying stuff, and it says you want to buy this product, you might also like these products,
Right?
And it said 50 best farts and stuff like that. It was all really weird. I was like, no, I think we're missing the point here. I'm trying to lean more to the Animal Farm thing. I'm not trying to get into the farts. Yeah.
Right. Oh, wow.
And how many cats have been a part of your life?
I was going to ask if you have cats.
We do have 2 cats. They're both dead. Shannon says I'm not allowed to say it like that, but that's okay. Shannon's my wife. But yeah, we had cats for a long time, Steve and Agnes, and they both are in the backyard now. And varied states.
So cats entered your life later on. They weren't part of you as a young Brittlestar.
I when I was a young kid, I was like really allergic to cats, and so I couldn't spend a lot of time with cats. So it wasn't until my adult life where we decided to have kids that were like, well, before we have children, before we have humans, we should have a cat. Let's see if we can keep a cat alive, and we did for a very long time.
Wow.
It was a good learning lesson, and it was good. But I loved having cats because cats are like, they don't need you, and they don't care if you love them, but they also at the same time need you and love you at the same time.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, and I have a reason for asking this, but why the names Steve and Agnes?
Well, we thought it'd be funny to call for them, basically. It started our first cat, Steve, in one of our first apartments. Our neighbor is named Steve, and he still is. He hasn't changed his name since we moved, as far as I know. But he was massively into show tunes, and so we would come home on a Friday night, and he would be belting out show tunes with a couple of pals, just belting them out. We thought, wouldn't it be really funny to just have a pet and open the door and be like, "Hey, Steve, Steve."
Yeah, I knew there was a story.
Yeah, and then Agnes just felt right. Agnes just felt like a good match. It just seemed funny.
I asked because during the Democrats Abroad global meeting, there are often a lot of backroom chats going on. And there was one for Democrats Abroad Canada. And we did have a little digression into cat names. It turned out many of us who are leaders in Democrats Abroad Canada are cat owners. There was a bunny named Artemis. There were dogs whose names I don't remember. But the interesting thing was the theme in our cat names. In addition to a Xander, a Rupert, and my cats, Tonson and Hemming, we had a Pepper, a Bagel, a Steak, and Egg. Steak and Egg live together, just in case you were wondering.
Wow.
No, I know.
They say cat people are weird, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we can leave it at that. But
yeah.
So are we dressing like cats?
Well, I said, people obviously they can't see this because no video, but I want people listening to this podcast to know that David is wearing a cat suit right now.
I had it specially made.
Not like a two-piece thing. It's like the Eartha Kitt style cat suit. And it's got the cowl and everything. It's quite something. And I think I've never seen a man wear something that's been knitted like that before.
David, we need a selfie for when we post the pod.
Knitted?
No, I don't think you do.
Normally that would have been in leather, but yeah, I got it knitted.
Yeah. Well, it's nice. It's a bit of a macrame style that you've got.
Well, you need to be warm for these Canadian winters.
Well, exactly. It's It's something to shovel the driveway in.
Yeah.
This is a good idea.
Anything you do in Canada or wear in Canada is something to shovel the driveway.
That's true.
So,
Wow. Now there's a name of a book.
or an album.
Something to shovel the driveway in.
Shovel the driveway in.
It's like by Toad the Wet Sprocket.
So here's another question. Are there other animals we can take a lesson from?
Oh, I think absolutely there are. And I'm going to save those up for other books and other huge advances.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's, it's interesting. And I say that a lot, but it's because there's lots of interesting things and I'm a very simple man. But writing the book made me realize there's a lot of actions and decisions that our pets and animals make that when you apply them to human scenarios, you go, that's actually pretty smart. It's a pretty good idea. There's lots of reasoning behind it, seems. Whether or not the cats and other animals know what they're doing is, going to be, fighting for democracy, I'm not sure. But there's a lot to learn there. So yeah, I think absolutely. I think it's good to sort of learn from animals every now and then. Not for everything. Like for cats, for example, there's no need for you to say in the middle of a social situation, decide now is the time to clean your own butt. That is not, you don't need to do that.
So how does that relate to
Depends what you're
fascism?
protesting, I guess.
That's true. Exactly.
Well, give us an example of some of the decisions animals make that
sure.
be secret bids for democracy.
I'm going to say that I'm going to go back to the nap time thing because the nap time thing is actually really apt. The idea that, you feel guilty for resting. Humans often feel guilty for resting and taking time off and taking a day for themselves or taking some time for themselves. When in fact, it seems evident that, your cat cannot operate at that zoomy pace constantly 24 hours a day. They need to conserve energy. They need to rest. They need to get their thoughts together. They need to decide what to knock over next. I mean, that doesn't, you don't want to decide that on the fly. You want to think about it.
That takes planning. You're right.
Exactly. But yeah, I think it's the idea as well that, as it relates to fascism and it relates to authoritarian regimes, is that part of that conquering plan of those terrible people is that they work on exhausting you. They work on making sure you don't have time to rest. So it's important for you to find a safe spot and just be like, you know what, I'm clocking out for a little bit and rest, recharge, and then come back stronger and zoomier than ever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, and that's a big metaphor in sports as well. Like, it's interesting when I know you want to save the world, you don't necessarily understand that you do need to take a little rest every now and then. But the biggest sports teams in the world will make it quite clear that no, you need downtime. Any hockey player I know takes a nap in the afternoon before the hockey game at night because you've got to be ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's this myth that you're just sort of supposed to be superpowered and superhuman and be able to just keep going all the time in top gear, and you just can't. You just can't do that. It just doesn't work. It'll catch up to you. It's the old saying of, if you don't take a day off, if you don't decide to take a day off, your body will decide for you. And you don't want to get to that point. So you want to make sure you're resting and all that kind of thing. Is one of the things I like about it is just looking at the book here in front of me to remind me of what I wrote. But I like the idea where it says, sweet, glorious naps. Nothing confounds a fascist more than someone who looks them dead in the eye and says, you know what? I think I'm going to take a nap and deal with you later. There's also a bit of power. There's a bit of power in that.
That's true.
What do you think about the labor unions, fought for this for generations to be able to have some downtime?
Exactly.
That's for sure. Right. That's why we have a 5-day work week, right?
That's right.
That has not always been the case. So what about the whole if it fits, I sits meme? Did you do anything with that? I'm serious. That's all over.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I'll get the proper wording of it. It is take over spaces that aren't yours is the name of the chapter. And the idea
you have a whole
of
chapter on it. Yes.
Oh yes, there's a whole chapter on it. Now the chapters are about 2.5 pages long, so you'll be able to get through them. But yeah, that idea of making sure that you're occupying those spaces that maybe some people don't want you to occupy, because it's too easy to just let go of things without doing something. But it's like when our old neighbor tried to mow about 2 feet of our lawn, and initially you're like, that's nice, and you're like, you know what, you should stop that.
Right,
you should stop doing that.
Yeah, mine.
Exactly.
It's funny when you say each chapter is like 2.5 pages long. That sounds like we're going back to the old era of the bathroom book, which seems to have disappeared in modern society, perhaps for the best.
I hope you're complimenting Stuart and not,
I listen, bathroom books, people pay money for those too as well, so that's fine. As long as there's money involved, that's the main thing.
You don't care.
And I think each chapter is about the length of one movement, so that should be fun.
Nobody does that. Everybody's on their phone now. I remember once upon a time you'd go to somebody's bathroom. I do not take
my phone into the bathroom.
you'd go to somebody's bathroom, there'd be piles of magazines and stuff in there. Now that's...
Yes. Wasn't that bizarre? And you're like, you never even thought twice about it at the time. You're like, oh, I'll just leaf through this magazine. Good Lord.
Especially in an outhouse if the toilet paper ran out.
Oh, dear. Terrible.
So, yeah. I do have one rather provocative question. So, you have me...
About David's suit?
You should
I
see
think
the
we can
tail.
just leave that alone.
Okay.
I look forward to that. No, I'm halfway convinced. No, I'm more than halfway convinced. I think you make a good case. But in championing cats as resistance models, aren't you bucking cultural precedent? As in, cats have been villains in An American Tale, and in Mouse, specifically fascists and Nazis and anti-Semites.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I think it's a good question. And I think that, to me, that kind of makes them the best kind of resistors. Because they have, here's the thing. You can trust the cats to help teach us how to get out of an authoritarian regime, how to get how to survive fascism. But we want to stop them short of just taking full control and full power. Okay. We want to follow the cats up to a point and then have to remind the cats we know how to open the cupboard to get the kibble out. That's the
idea. Yes, and therefore we should keep it latched, which I
exactly.
My cats will eat anything that's not pinned down. They are wildebeests of cats.
Absolutely, because they do what they want and they thrive on their independence and their freedom, and they just have that attitude that it's nice to borrow a little bit of that attitude, I think, every now and then, which is good.
There's something I find remarkable about cats too, that it's their instinct, it's their ability to learn. Humans are so reliant on each other, reliant on the internet, and reliant on podcasts for all our knowledge. But there's a certain cats that have never been around another cat since the day that cat was 10 weeks old, but seems to learn how to do things along the way. Where does that come from?
I don't know. I mean, maybe someone else wrote a book for cats. I'm not sure. I don't. It's fascinating to me, though, isn't it? It's amazing. I think one of the things I remember about our cat Steve, we got him as a kitten, and I remember vividly the first night. I remember saying to Shannon, my wife, I was like, "How do we know when he has to go to the washroom? Like, when he has to go to the bathroom? What happens? How do we teach him this? He's got to go to the litter box and stuff." And she's like, "They just know." And sure enough, he'd curled up on our bed that very first night, and in the middle of the night, about 1 o'clock in the morning, because you're sleeping lightly, because you got a new pet. It's exciting. He's adorable. Mm-hmm. It's exciting. You can check in to make sure he's
there. Yeah,
exactly. And you're paying attention. And about 1:30 or so, he just got up, jumped off the bed, flopped down the stairs. Each stair was probably just about the same height as him. Mm-hmm.
Aww.
Flopped down the stairs. And we were like, where's he going? And Shannon's like, he's going to the litter box. And sure enough, we heard him downstairs.
Yeah, I remember.
It's craziness. I don't know how, why are kids so stupid? Why can't kids figure that kind of thing out?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. David, do you have anything you want to know? Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about current events for a moment. As we are recording this, there are protests in the streets of Los Angeles for the second day in a row. We're on our countdown to Trump's great, glorious Washington, D.C. parade on a Saturday night. And rather than a specific question, I just want to know what your vibe is. How are you feeling right now?
There's two feelings that kind of are prominent for me with this. One is it's frightening and a little exhausting. Mm-hmm. And the other is a little bit of optimism, because I cannot see it going much further or having the majority of people who are supporters of him. I think a lot of them are going to realize, wait a minute, this is starting to affect my life now. Mm-hmm. I don't care if it didn't affect me before, but now it is. And I think there's just, I think we're getting close to the wheels are starting to come off. I think back in January, I said, having a conversation, and I said, I give it 6 months before the wheels come off in that machine. And it was referring to the Musk, Trump, and machine and stuff. And sure enough, the wheels did come up. And I think that's basically down to the fact that, in fascism, you need that lead person, and you're going to have a bunch of pretenders to the throne who are going to be trying to, Shane their way. I'm trying to think of an old cowboy thing. Basically, this, who want to be the fastest gunslinger in the West, and they want to prove themselves. Right. And I think there's just going to be a lot of people trying to muscle into that territory. And it's going to make each blow is going to weaken the Trump regime further. I think a long time ago, I remember saying that it was like, I felt that the Trump administration was like the end villain in a video game, an old video game, where one shot, I don't know, I shouldn't do this violently, one blow is not enough to defeat the horrible villain. You need multiple things happening in order to defeat the villain. So yeah, it's and I obviously don't advocate violence whatsoever.
Right.
But I think that idea that it's going to be there's going to be many cracks. Many cracks.
We all call that's known as the final boss, right? The big boss, the final boss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In video game words, there's always the big boss at the end that you've got to take out, and then you win the game. And it could take a long time before you defeat that final boss. And then it's hard to know what's going to happen on the other side.
Not just one action; it takes multiple actions to do it.
Right.
And I think you're seeing those actions happening in real time right now.
Absolutely. And as our most recent guest, Ezra Levin, was telling us, there are 1,400.
What a step down, for you guys? What a huge step down. Smart, cool name, good looks, down to this.
Well, there wasn't video with him either, so who knows?
You peaked. That's it, you peaked.
But he was saying there are already 1,400 No King's Day protests planned across the U.S. And as we also were discussing, there are No Kings and No Tyrants Days planned around the world, including one here in Ottawa. So,
yeah, I think that's one of the interesting things about not being American is that we've been sold this idea of what it is to be an American and what America stands for and represents. And so many things in the past, the first administration, Trump administration, and also the second one, so many things have been kind of like, you guys, surely the Americans must not be happy with this. And I'm sure enough, a lot of people aren't happy with it. Mm-hmm. But there's just so much that the world is just disappointed. I think they're just sad. They're just like, wow, you guys used to be cool. And it's not. I mean, as interestingly about the whole, Canadians traveling to the U.S. and Americans leaving the U.S. and coming back to the U.S. concerns, as part of the marketing for this book, and it's an American publisher. They said, we decided it wasn't worth the risk for me to come down to New York for the release. Yeah,
because what part of the world are you in? Remind us.
So we're in Stratford, Ontario, in Canada,
right?
Just north of Toronto, and so it was felt that it wasn't worth the risk to go to New York. Not that I would, because I'm a middle-aged white guy.
Yeah,
I'd
you're
probably be
fine.
absolutely fine.
You're
Yeah,
fine. That's the way I feel
fine.
about going to the States. I'll be fine.
However, it's like, what are you doing? Why are you here? Oh, for the book, okay. And it's, what's the book about? Well, does it reference Mar-a-Lago? So there's lots of reasons that it might be. We just thought it was going to potentially be a liability, a risk that we didn't need to take. So that's why I'm going to the UK to do it instead. So
Oh, makes sense. So one of the things you're known for in your Brittlestar persona is the videos you do with an American and a Canadian neighbor talking about things like Thanksgiving.
yeah.
So how has the current situation influenced you? I don't know if you've made any since the second Trump administration, but
I have. Yeah, I did. I made one where I had to try to walk the line a little carefully so as not to be flippant or cavalier about the analogy. But the idea was essentially that it was like not a good relationship to be in. And the American and Canadian are talking over the fence. And in the background, we have Trump's voice saying, "Who are you talking to?" And the American says, "No one. Better not be Canada." No, it's not. And the Canadian going, "What's going on? Like, what's the deal? Why are you sticking around this guy?" And then at the end, the Canadian says to the American neighbor, "Just ditch him. Just ditch him. Get rid of him. Let's move on."
Ditch him.
Yeah,
like Dr. Ruth used to play on her show, wash that man right out of your hair.
exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
There is something so weird about Trump being the great businessman, and then he takes the best customer in the world that the United States has, which is Canada, and starts a trade war with it. Like, how on earth is this good business?
I don't know, and I think that's the thing, is that there's always a sliver of hope that what he's doing is has reason behind it.
Yeah,
and I'm really not sure there ever is. I think that's, you notice in Canadian politics now, that Prime Minister Carney is much more of an attitude of like, listen, we're going to see if we can do some deals, but generally it's over. You can't because you can't make deals with someone who just changes their mind and agrees one day and then changes it the next day.
yeah.
It's not a way to do business, because business relies on stability, and if there's no stability, then there's no business. And it's frustrating. It's, I don't know if we might have talked about the movie The Apprentice that was out. It was like
The Canadian one.
Yeah, about Trump, and it was very well done. First of all, and there's 3 rules that Trump gets taught by Cohn in that. And if you listen to those 3 rules, you can apply them to every decision he's ever made. It's like, got it.
Right. Oh, no, I haven't seen the movie. I guess I better go watch it.
It just cleaned up at the Canadian Screen Awards the other day.
It's a phenomenal film, and filmed largely in and around Toronto, which is great. So,
Cool. So you said you were launching the book in the UK. What else is going on there?
So I'm going to be in the UK. The book comes out on the 24th. I'm doing a signing at Hatchard's Piccadilly, which is the oldest bookstore in the UK.
Fun.
If all goes well.
How old is that?
It's crazy old, man. It's the Royal Bookstore, Royal Bookseller as well.
Wow.
I gotta borrow David's cat suit.
Well, I don't know if we're the same size, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
I can't fill it.
Only one way to find out.
Nope. So we're doing a signing there, which is really fun, and hopefully there's just so much history in that bookstore. It's an amazing, it's like a 4-story bookstore, and there's like signed copies of, I think, the last time of everything. Last time we were there, my son got a signed copy of a Kurt Vonnegut book, which was beside a signed F. Scott Fitzgerald book.
Oh my god!
Like just phenomenal stuff, like crazy stuff. And then soon to have Lessons from Cats.
Yes. You better sign a couple of editions while you're there.
And that's exactly the point. There you go. I'll be doing that, and then on the 28th, I'll be taking part in the Canada Day London celebrations. It's a Saturday. That's why they're doing it as opposed.
Yeah, that's not Canada Day.
Exactly. Well spotted.
Yeah, with time zones.
Yeah, huge time zone difference. So June 28th on the Saturday from 12 until about 8 o'clock, there's going to be a huge celebration, and there has been over the past few years in Trafalgar Square, about 30,000 people outside Canada House, which is the embassy.
Who
And
knew?
bands like the Arkells are playing, and Erica M is, of course, from Much Music, an old VJ. She's not an old. Oh God, I hope she doesn't listen to this. Erica, I'm so sorry. I meant like a previously VJ.
Oh, I miss Erica M. How's she doing?
She's great. She's so cool. She's just so cool. I met her for the first time about 10 years ago, and I like many young people in Canada
grew up with her. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And she was just the coolest. Like she seemed on first glance seemed a little ditzy, and 2 words out of her mouth, you're like, nope, she's super smart.
Yep.
So yeah, she also did the last interview with Kurt Cobain, which is one of the coolest sort of facts about her.
Man, incredible.
Yeah.
So why don't more Canadians know about Canada Day in Trafalgar Square?
I don't know. I guess it's my point to my part is to help fix that as well. So I'll be doing a little bit of announcing and stuff to make sure people know that it's happening. But I mean, 30,000 people is a lot of people in Trafalgar Square.
People. Yeah, we should all be there. Oh.
Yeah, I agree. Why not? Because there's lots of great pubs around there. You're seconds away from Hatchard's bookstore to buy my book if you want.
Signed.
Exactly.
Well, that's awesome.
And what's next for you? So you've got more books you're working on. Your podcast is going good?
Yeah, so we do Podcast is Broken, which is a podcast about Canadian politics and news. We try to make it a little funner.
Right.
And hosted by myself and Steve Boots and Lisa B from TikTok fame.
Right.
And they're way cooler than I am. And they also know way more than I do. I'm like the idiot monkey who has somehow managed to turn on the video chat service. This sounds terrible. Yeah. Tell me about it.
For the next 2 nights, I'm bartending at the Prime Minister's garden party over at Rideau Cottage. Yeah,
no, you're not. Are you really?
I am. Yeah, a buddy of mine owns a brewery, and for whatever reason, we've become the official beer of Rideau Cottage, and so I'll see if I got some good stories for you.
Yeah.
I have flashbacks about breweries, and is it a brewery? No, you don't have to tell me, but is it a brewery in Ottawa?
Yeah. It's just a little microbrewery. And it's one of these crazy little Ottawa things that staffers in Ottawa know of and love, and it's local, and it's every checkbox you need to check off to be the beer at Rideau Cottage, and we've been doing it for years. We did it for the speakers night, when the speaker has a night, when it was under Greg Fergus. We'll see if we get with the new guy. At the French Embassy for Bastille Day, that was us doing the beer as well. So it's the other side of Ottawa that on the second thought I shouldn't tell any stories about, because then I might lose this job.
Exactly. Don't lose the gig, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Sworn to secrecy.
It'll all be in my book.
Exactly. Just save it for later. Exactly.
I see we both have some writing to do, clearly.
Exactly.
Fun. All right. Is there anything else you want to tell us that we haven't touched on?
No, I think that, I think the main thing is to remind people to save up as much money as possible and buy as many copies of my book as possible.
And put them in all the bathrooms they can find.
And all the bathrooms they can find.
Makes a great Christmas gift.
It does. Makes an amazing Christmas gift, of course. I think if people are going to put them use them as a bathroom reader, you should buy like bathroom tissue. You should buy this is not a put it back situation. This is, you pick it up and you take it home now. So I think they should buy at least 50 to 60 copies and just have them sitting in the vanity.
That's the.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
No, that's a way more sanitary way to do it.
Exactly.
For sure.
Safety.
Yeah,
but I'm realizing we never thought to ask how the cats feel about this book.
Well, I'll tell you, I filmed a video at the Alley Cat Cafe here in Stratford, which is one of these places is a cafe, and then there's a separate area that's just cats going crazy.
Where they're trying to find homes for the cats, at least.
Yes, absolutely. They do. Their primary purpose is to make sure the cats get adopted. Right. And it's a great place. It's lovely. The cats are adorable. Even if one of them did decide that biting me was funny. But it was,
it's a love bite, isn't it?
I did in the video, I asked point blank to the first cat, what are your thoughts on fascism? And the cat turned away. I think that says it all. So.
Well done. Okay, so it's timely. It's got the stamp of cat approval.
It's exactly the paw of approval.
And it'll be out soon. The paw of approval. There we go. Awesome. Stuart, thanks for coming back. This has been so much fun.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. If you live outside the U.S., please register with your voting state at votefromabroad.org every year. Do it now. To find all our episodes, go to democratsabroad.org and look for us in the drop-down menu. I'm Rachel Oikster with David Schellenberg in Ottawa, Canada. Thank you for listening to Democrats Abroad, the Blue Vote Cafe.